We're going to play a game I like to call Monday Morning Quarterback as we look back at the weekend that was in the SEC. We're not going to spend a crazy amount of time on these blowout games. A lot of these are like ho-hum, no big deal. We expected it, but certainly some interesting results over the weekend. We first start in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, taking down Chattanooga ho-hum in their warm-up for the Iron Bowl. Final score of 66-10. You take a look at the stats. Really efficient day from Jalen Milroe, 13 of 16, 197, 3 touchdowns. Ty Simpson, got in there, 4 of 6 for 50. Lonergan, their backup, got in there, 2 for 2 for 12. That name's actually really familiar because I'm pretty sure South Carolina at one point was recruiting Dylan Lonergan to be a quarterback on their football team. Either way, how about Ty Simpson? 1 carry for 78 yards in the game. Miller, their running back, 6 for 77. McClellan, 6 for 62. Again, this was a blowout. Bama rolling in this one as they get set for the Iron Bowl. Ole Miss takes down UL Monroe. Final score of 35-3. Guys, this game was actually 7-3 at halftime, right? So Ole Miss somewhat sleptwalked. They outscored, though, UL Monroe 28-0 in the second half. Jackson Dart going 24-31, 310, 3 touchdowns. Even Spencer Sanders got in there, 4 for 5, 61 yards and a touchdown to his credit. So Ole Miss with the quick turnaround, as well as Mississippi State for the Egg Bowl on Thursday, which that game, I do agree with Chris Storing in one of our previous segments that may be the most underrated rivalry in all of college football. Guys, do some digging, do some research. I highly encourage. The amount of hate, like true nasty hate between Ole Miss and Mississippi State is something else. On that note, Mississippi State, they do get a win. First game after Zach Arnett, 41-20. I think this is a really impressive win, guys. I mean, Southern Miss is not just some scrub. I mean, I know they're not an SEC opponent or what have you, but I mean, for Mississippi State to be going through everything they're going through. And I mean, this game, guys, this game was 23-7 going into the fourth quarter. Mississippi State holds off, so the Miss outscores them 18-13 in the fourth quarter. So a wildly entertaining fourth quarter there in Starkville. Will Rogers, 12 for 27, 144, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Still no, or yeah, they did have Woody Marks in the game, 12 for 34 in that ball game. So I mean, again, ho-hum result, sure, but I'm expecting a very interesting Egg Bowl. And of course, guys, we'll talk about that tomorrow in more detail. Texas A&M, first game without Jimbo Fisher. They get a 38-10 win over Abilene Christian. This one got off to a funky start, right? Abilene Christian, I think it was a fumble recovery they had. Scoop and score, returned it for a touchdown. They went up 7-0. After that, though, it was all Aggies. And now they turn around. Really tough game. They close out LSU, a Tigers team that's going to want revenge after what happened last year. Guys, to Knoxville we go. An SEC matchup. Georgia just disposes of the Tennessee Volunteers. Tennessee ran that opening play. Hey, you think, oh my goodness, here comes the upset. It was 10-7 after the first quarter. Like, all right, balls are in it. It was all dogs from there. They outscored Tennessee 28-3 from the second quarter on. Guys, Georgia's just, they're a well-oiled machine. And I'll just say this. I know there's a lot of folks out there that, number one, hate Georgia, which I respect and understand. Number two, they feel like Bama's been disrespected or slept on, or they just love Nick Saban. That's all fine and dandy. I know it's going to be a really good game. I can't wait to talk about this thing, break it down next week. But if you're betting against Georgia at this point, dude, they're crushing people. Like it's easy at this point, it seems like, on a day. Like every week, Carson Beck, 24-30, 298, 3 touchdowns. That's all he's doing every week. Like Carson Beck is just week after week after week putting up crazy numbers. Georgia's not even running the ball all that well this year. Kendall Milton, 14 carries, 66 yards, and a touchdown. I mean, that's nothing crazy, right? You look at the receiving room, guys, they didn't even have Ladd McConkey. Didn't matter. Marcus Rosemary, Jack Saint, 7 for 91, 2 touchdowns. Bell, 5 for 90 and a touchdown. Brock Bowers, 7 for 60 and a touchdown. Like, they got dudes on dudes on dudes on dudes on dudes. They may not have that big star at wide receiver. They got a bunch of dudes, man. Certified dudes out there on the outside. And I mean, we went into this last couple game stretch like, oh, this is Georgia's toughest stretch. Look at these tough games they have. Bro, they're crushing people. They're rolling through everyone. Georgia has turned it on at the right time. And guys, if I may, this is exactly what most of us thought was going to happen. The schedule played out perfectly for Georgia. Supremely talented team with a bunch of new pieces. They took the first half of the season, first 2/3 of the season to get those pieces together, get those pieces acclimated. They weren't flashy and winning sexy early on. But now, guess what? Georgia's that team that I guarantee you nobody wants to play. So it'll be fascinating next weekend for Georgia, Alabama looking ahead. But I tell you what, man, the Dogs, they look just as good, if not better, than they've looked the last 2 years, and they won the national title back-to-back. Guys, to the Plains we go. I mean, the most absurd result of the weekend. Hugh Freeze and the Auburn Tigers pay $1.85 million to give New Mexico State their first ever win over a Power 5 opponent, guys. 31-10 was the final. Like, this wasn't some turnover-aided fluke. Oh, well, Auburn just – no. New Mexico State dominated this football game. And immediately, guys, I am not saying it's going to follow this script. I'm not saying that at all. But my mind immediately went back to 2007 when Nick Saban and Alabama lost to UL Monroe. Again, I am not saying that Hugh Freeze at Auburn is going to play out that way. But the same way that UL Monroe loss did not destroy Nick Saban's Alabama program, I don't think this is a game that destroys the Auburn program, right? I don't think it's it's year one of Hugh Freeze. They've already reached a bowl game. The year's been a success, in my opinion. Like, getting to a bowl game in year one with the quarterback and the offense you've had, that's a success. But it's inexcusable. I mean, it really, truly is. It's inexcusable. It's a failure on all parties, coaches, players, everyone involved in that program to let that happen, because nobody's going to look at these rosters and say that New Mexico State's more talented than Auburn or even close. So what happened? Well, from the looks of things, it was a team that was unprepared. They were unmotivated. They were looking past New Mexico State to Alabama, and it cost them. And this could actually be spun into a positive for Hugh Freeze's program. If he's able to spin it the right way, if he's able to preach on, okay, this is a learning experience, it's a lesson for us forever and ever and ever to never let it happen again. But a wild result on the Plains, and it doesn't make me feel any less about what Hugh Freeze will be at Auburn. I think Auburn's going to be a really good program under his leadership. I mean, it's just, guys, Hugh Freeze wins. That's it. Bottom line, he wins. You can question his character, his integrity, his way of doing things. He wins. He wins big everywhere he goes. But, I mean, just a baffling result. A baffling result, and one that nobody saw coming. To Como we go. Mizzou takes down Florida 33-31. I disagree with Chris Doering. I understand that Nick Saban's done a great coaching job this year. I understand that Kirby Smart has done a great coaching job. But, dude, Eli Drinkwitz and what they've done when nobody expected this. Nobody. I think Eli Drinkwitz should be hands down the coach of the year in the SEC. Just hands down, man. And what a game it was, man. What a game it was in Como. Mizzou gets the W. Harrison Mevis makes the 30-yard field goal. Basically, his time expires to win that football game. Florida couldn't hold on for a minute 36, man. Minute 36, they're up 31-30. Could not hold on. And I'm not surprised. I was about to say I've been surprised. I'm really not, though. I was going to say about the Billy Napier energy and the energy from Florida fans. And, you know, this time last week, everybody's saying, okay, well, it's frustrating, but, we got to give Billy another year. Then you lose to Mizzou, and it's like, he's out of here. Get him out of here. He should be gone. I'm not saying Florida fans shouldn't be frustrated because you talk about having high expectations. I mean, Florida expects to win SEC titles, national titles, and they should. 2008, 2009, like that wasn't that long ago when Florida was winning and winning big. It wasn't that long ago, right? I think you have to give Billy Napier next year. You have to. You're not going to get anywhere unless Urban Meyer is coming back. You're not going to get anywhere firing Napier after 2 seasons. You're not. You're just not. And then for Mizzou, what a great win, man. I mean, it's just, listen, in the SEC, a win's a win's a win, as we talked about with South Carolina. You got to find ways to win games. That defense, it's been somewhat inconsistent this year. Give Florida credit. They've been good offensively at times. We saw that in Columbia firsthand. Graham Mertz, 14 of 21, 183. That dude was a warrior. I know he hurt his collarbone, and some people will say, well, he shouldn't have done that. He's got to protect himself. Dude, he's doing everything he can, putting his body on the line to try to get his team a 6th win. I respect the hell out of it. I respect the hell out of it. And when he comes back, that dude has earned hella respect from his teammates in that locker room. Brady Cook continues to be really good for Mizzou, 20 of 34, 331, a touchdown on the day. Montrell Johnson, the running game was great. Cody Schrader, my goodness, 23 for 148, a touchdown. He's the best running back in college football at this point. Not just the SEC, all of college football. Luther Burden, 9 for 158. He was incredible. Theo Weiss, 1 for 77 and a touchdown. Ricky Pearsall for Florida, 2 for 72. Just could not hang on. Just could not do enough at the end of the game. And again, I know there are people that are really upset in Gainesville. I totally get it. But you got to stick with Billy Napier. And then finally, guys, it's just a magical season for Mizzou. I mean, really, truly. And who would have thought, man? Eli Drinkwitz, coach of the year. I'll keep saying it, coach of the year. We'll get to the Arkansas stuff last. LSU takes down Georgia State, guys. Hey, give Sean Elliott's team credit. They fought early. LSU too much, obviously, that offense. Jaden Daniels, we said it last week. We'll say it again. Dude should win the Heisman, no doubt. He was phenomenal yet again, put up some big-time numbers. If Jaden Daniels doesn't get the Heisman, it's a broken system. Throw it out. And finally, guys, Arkansas beats FIU 44-20. But the big news coming out of this ball game, Arkansas's athletic director comes out on Sunday, confirms that Sam Pittman will return as the head hog in 2024. And I think that's a good move, guys. You've got to put a unified front out there. You know the chatter's happening. You know the banter's commencing. You know that the torches and pitchforks are being raised. You got to present a unified front one way or the other. Either he ain't coming back or he is coming back and we believe in him. And with that being said, I mean, I think, you know what I think this is, guys? I think this Sam Pittman thing is a great example of why it's important to be likable, why it's important to be liked, to have a good personality, to get along with the media, to be someone that your fan base embraces. Because that's a lot of reasoning, I think, behind why he's coming back. And why many folks you're here today saying, oh, it's a great move they're bringing Sam Pittman back. It's a great move. Awesome move. That's good for Arkansas. Well, why? Why? Because he's an Arkansas man. He's beloved by Arkansas fans. He fits that program. He gets along with the media. Right? This goes beyond football. It goes beyond coaching. This goes to the corporate world. This goes to any walk of life. If you're going to be a personality hire, you better be likable. Because if you're a personality hire, which is effectively what Sam Pittman was, right? Didn't have the track record in the resume. But if you're a personality hire, you better have the personality, right? Because if Sam Pittman was a dickhead and he had the same record, I don't know if they're as eager to bring him back, right? Let's call it for what it is. So good on Sam Pittman. Good on Arkansas for putting out a unified front. And I'll say it, I like Sam Pittman. He makes sense because he's an Arkansas guy. They had a rough year this year. Offensive line was terrible. They do have a lot of pieces to build on for next year. Hell, KJ Jefferson could come back again if he wants to, which is crazy to think about, but he's got a 6th year of college football in his back pocket. So they might get him back. They're going to get a lot of guys on defense back, guys. Again, the pieces are there. It's very clear going into 2024 for Sam Pittman in Arkansas, they've got to win. And if they don't win, he's going to be gone. I think that's going to be well understood by him. That's going to be well understood by the administration. That's going to be well understood by the fan base. But I think right now, even though I said last week the Polar Express stuff, you had to make a decision one way or the other. I don't know who Arkansas would have went and got, but I do like Sam Pittman. I'm someone that, listen, I fall in that camp. It's like a Beamer at South Carolina thing, guys. Like, he's just, maybe he's not winning 10 games, right? But he's likable. He's a personality hire. Like, he's somebody the fan base embraces. He's going to get a little bit longer leash. And so if you're going to be a personality hire, play to it, man. Be likable. Be someone that people like, the media likes. People at SEC Media Days look forward to Sam Pittman. They look forward to Shane Beamer. But at the end of the day, at some point, it becomes a results-oriented business. 2024 will be that year, but I think a good move on the Hogs to keep him in Fayetteville, good move on the Hogs to allow him the opportunity to respond to adversity. And we were wondering, guys, right? We were wondering, in this transfer portal era, how long does a coach get? For Sam Pittman in Arkansas, it's 4 years. Billy Napier at Florida, it might only be 2. It might only be 3. For Shane Beamer at South Carolina, I think it's probably going to be 5. Maybe it's 4. I think it'll probably be 5, though. It's very, very interesting to see how that changes expectations of winning and winning big for SEC head coaches. But all in all, again, glad to see Sam Pittman back in Fayetteville. He's a great fit for Arkansas. Nobody wants to get it done more than him. There's got to be some retooling behind closed doors. There's got to be some little, some come to Jesus moments, some things that are revamped. You can't have dudes watching Polar Express at halftime of a game. You're getting your butt kicked in. Got to go get an offensive coordinator who's worth a damn. They do that. Sam Pittman might do enough to stick around. 2024 is going to be interesting, to say the least, in Fayetteville.